This is the weekly on RC live from Moscow. My name is Yulia Shapovalov, and let's start with our breaking news this hour. A bailout deal for Cyprus has finally been reached in Brussels, which means that the island will avoid a default. The Eurogroup has signed off on the rescue plan for the ailing economy. And let's now get the details from RT's Tessa Arsilia. Tessa, very nice to see you. So it looks like the last-ditch deal has finally been struck. What does it imply?
Well, indeed, the deal has been made. It's really been a last-minute effort here, trying to meet that Monday, 25th of March deadline set by the European Central Bank and cutting off liquidity. And right now, what the latest details we have is that there will be a restructuring of the country's second largest bank here, the popular Bank of Cyprus, Laiki. Now, what's going to happen is they're going to be having to create that concept of the good bank and bad bank. So first of all, those deposits below 100,000 euros will be protected and moved and transferred to the Bank of Cyprus. That is the largest lender of the country, while those deposits above 100,000 euros will be taking a loss. Now, it will be quite a substantial loss, although we'll have to wait for that actual percentage. So that's the plan that they have put forth and agreed upon right now. And also that initial levy that they said that they would put on all deposits, on deposit holders across all Cypriot banks. Well, that is now off the table, so that they had shelved this plan. Now, remember, all of this is in an effort to get that a 10 billion euro bailout from the EU. So, in fact, they are going to be getting it to avoid that bankruptcy status that they've been really afraid of for the past week now. But today, we saw on Sunday that the central bank had imposed a limit on the withdrawals that people can take from ATMs. There was a 100 euro limit, so we can see that definitely the cash flow problem still is being felt here on the ground. People are still really frustrated and really anxious at what's going to be happening next. And also I have to mention that the 9 billion euros of emergency assistance funding that the Laiki, the troubled bank, have been getting from the European Central Bank will now be transferred to the Bank of Cyprus. So they will be absorbing basically the bad debts of that ailing bank, essentially meaning that Laiki will be shutting down. And this will really be bad news for a lot of people here who are working for that bank.
And of course, as you say, we've seen massive public discontent ahead of the talks. How will the people take the recent news?
Well, first of all, they've already been taking it badly since this news broke, and we can already anticipate that they will not be taking this news very well. We've already seen the staff and family members of Laiki Bank, the one that is now effectively going to be closed. They've already been protesting into the streets, afraid that they would be losing their jobs. Also, this frustration with the fact that many people here feel that this kind of saving the banks is not actually saving the people of Cyprus. We know that the president of the country had said this is a deal that will be pleasing to the people of Cyprus, but that is not really the reality that we see on the ground. There's also a lot of frustration on the fact that there may be the banks may be imposing capital controls on the movement of their assets, on their access to their money. So we know that the people here are just worried about the fact that they don't have cash in hand. It's very difficult to access that, whether their savings are still going to be substantial. And so we can expect that people here will not be welcoming this with open arms.
All right, RT's Tessa Arsilia with the latest from Nicosia, Cyprus. Tessa, thank you very much indeed. And Warren Pollock, market analyst and financial advisor, says the financial turmoil in Cyprus is part of a broader crisis.
We're talking now about Cyprus, which has 1.15 million people. But in reality, this is a global problem which has not been addressed since 2007, 2008. And previous to that, with the issuance of huge amounts of debt and leverage into the system, both in Europe and in the United States. And when that debt goes bad, the only recourse which exists is to tap the remaining collateral in the system, which is the savings. Sooner or later, if you keep on sort of stealing savings, you're going to have popular unrest. It's something which is irrelevant in a country that is 1.15 million people. But when you start to see unrest, let's say in France, where they are not as strong financially as Germany, I mean, we could definitely see these small countries being the test to see whether savings can be stolen on a wider scale.